two market for that? What's the number one market?
LA, I think, does probably the lion's share of I mean, not only, I mean, Vancouver, like I work both in anime dubbing, in ADR dubbing, like for all this stuff, and then I also do a lot of North American cartoon work, you know, which like stuff like X-Men and He-Man and blah, 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 all the stuff that's done, you know, based out of LA. But yeah, LA would definitely be, I mean, that's where the best guys in the world live and work. And that's where 90% of the work is. You know, then Vancouver's kind of toppling along someplace. You know, the governor is trying very hard to make sure that doesn't happen for much longer, but we keep trying. As long as our value, our dollar stays low and devalued, we'll do fine. All right, even deeper into center field. With the thing hanging off the wristy thing. There you go. All right. My character.
Yes. Yes.
Did I say that out loud? I was having this discussion out front, and I want to like pull Koga aside and have a word with him. Because I'm going, Koga, you know, you've got this thing in your head that Kagome will be your mate. She's unattainable, dude! Meanwhile, you have beautiful, sweet, lovely Ayame. Going, won't you please marry me?
Yes!
I'm like, dumbass. Go there. And I like shitflow just because shitflow's cool. Yes. Hi, you.
Hi, how are you?
I'm swell. How are you?
I know you play the ask four voices every time you go.
I love doing that, man, because it means I don't have to actually think of anything clever.
When you do a conversation between Wolverine and Duo,
Oh, my. I'm starting to finally understand this. Here I thought it was just hot, steamy yaoi action. I'll never quite get my head wrapped around that. I'll never forget the first time at a panel. I'm like, being a cartoon voice actor involves, oh, thank you for the lovely artwork. So it's that can't be comfortable. Anyway, conversation between Wolverine and Duo Maxwell. Excuse me, sweetheart. I gotta get Did you just call me sweetheart? Yeah, sorry, darling. I say that to all the ladies. Death sign? Kill. On the plane ride home, I will come up with the most brilliant conversation you've ever heard between those two. And it would, oh my God, you would be raving about it for years, going, that was the funniest thing I have ever been. He just came up with this. And then I'll kick myself for the rest of the week.
The second half of my question, can I have a hug?
Yeah, huh? Did you see what, like, you know, it's Sharpie fumes. I'm like, I can't hear you, so what did I do? I put the microphone up to my ear. It's not my fault, I'm Canadian. This is the sound of a hug, a good hug. Thanks, sweetheart. I go home with this collection of hugs. You know, if I'm having a bad day at home, I just pull one out, put it on. I love it. Okay, in behind the side, because we gotta go deep.
Me, her.
You then her.
Me. Okay.
Isn't that personal? You then her.
Ow! How do you feel about Yahweh?
How do I feel about? I think I just did that. You know what? I mean, I grew up in the theater world, okay? I have very few prejudices, and I really don't. I mean, and the stuff I've seen, actually, I've got every bit I've seen has all been very, it's all like, you know, very tender and angel wings and lots of holding and gentle and.
Except
I haven't seen a lot where I've just gone, oh, jeez. Oh, man, it's like a bad prison picture. So, you know, I mean, the very first time somebody asked me, I was like, what do you think of, you know, 2 by 4 and 1 by, and I'm like, what? You know, it took me ages to figure out what the 2 thing meant. It's like, I gotta show you all this shirt that a friend of mine in Toronto made for me. I don't know if you can tell. Because she knows the shirts I wear, she knows I like plaid, so I thought, anyway, I wanted to share that with you. So, yeah, I mean, whatever, you know, floats your float, as it were. All right, from you to you. No, it's from you to her. Okay, her now.
Have you ever been groped by a fangirl?
Let's define growth. I've had a couple of near fatal glompings. Because a proper glomp, I keep stressing to people, is like you should never see a glomp coming. If it's a visual and if you're forewarned, then it's a hug and it's a wonderful thing. But a proper glomp should be like a broadside attack. And I made the mistake of saying that once, and I really got nailed. Like my spine was out for about a month. But yeah, I've come home with a few odd fingerprints and bruises. I'm trying to look unhappy about it. It's not working.
No, you're not.
All right, yes.
What's your worst fan?
I have only ever had one that was kind of nasty, and it involves dental hygiene. Or the lack thereof. I have been to a few cons, and you know, forgive me for saying this, but sometimes in the deeper sections of the South, where dental hygiene seems to be a bit more of an option than a lifestyle choice. And I've seen, you know, some wonderful, beautiful, smart, funny, you know, just incredible, and then there is this whole ecosystem living in the land. And I'm like, okay, you know what, it's a, you know, so whether it's never, obviously it's never happened in her life that she's actually ever brushed her teeth. So this girl came up out of the blue one day and licked me. Now that's not necessarily a bad thing, but due to the aforementioned lack of dental hygiene, she stayed with me all day. In spite of my politely going, I'm just going to knock off to the washroom for a second. Dear God, get it off, man! So that was the end of, you know, if God forbid she's here, I'm sorry. You'll have new teeth soon because the old one are going to fall out, man, if you don't brush them just once! So that was the only time. Somewhere she's going to hear it going, that was me. That son of a... Okay, let's go deep onto this side.
Yes, you're obviously a voice actor celebrity. So what's it like going to other cons or maybe in the studio and seeing people that you idolized maybe when you were younger and you look up to and you're a fan of them and being a celebrity and being a fan of stuff like that?
The only moment I've had where I've totally, like, you know, fanboyed out on somebody, and I didn't actually do it only because I missed out. You know, if somebody had asked me, but what's the one role that you would love to have played that you didn't get a chance to? And I would point over there and have you stand up and turn around.
Oh, yeah.
Part of my plan to take over the world. That's done by another Canadian, a guy named Maurice LaMarche, who lives in LA. I mean, he's the one guy that I just think is the absolute bomb. And he, you know, he's Canadian, so we've worked on the same projects a bunch of times. And he was up, I was at Coco Studios where we recorded a bunch of stuff, and I was hanging out, and we're talking with this cat in the lobby, and blah, blah, blah. He was in doing some stuff for Inspector Gadget. And we're yakking, he's a super nice dude, right? I'm loving it. And then he's got to take off, and everyone's used to work with him, so, you know, everyone's just leaving. And it's like, you know, see you later, Maurice, and I kind of go, ding, 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 morning bells. And then just as he was saying goodbye, you could hear that, just that little hint of Orson Welles popped in. And he left, and I was like, that was Maurice LaMarche, wasn't it? And it's like, yeah, didn't you know? I was like, well, yeah, we've been hanging here talking, but nobody is going, I thought you knew him. So I was like, I would have so, like, drooled all over it. So I'm kind of glad that we didn't get introduced. But I got to work, you know, I worked with Charlton Heston. That was kind of neat. Because everybody I know does Charlton Heston. So it was, oh my God. And I'm in the studio, I'm in the control room, and I hear this, and I'm like, yeah, that's not a bad Heston. Wow, he even looks like him. Okay, it's him. You know, and it was just before Easter, too. Like, the Ten Commandments was on that night. I'm like, I just worked with him. So I've had some chances to work with some pretty freaky cool people. And it's all fun. I mean, the people I work with every day are great. You know, you all had a chance to see kind of what nut bars we are. We have a pretty good time. Let's see. Ooh, I feel this incredible sense of power. You, my friend! I was wondering when you were going to show up.
Yeah, I'm gonna find you. How's the live action acting going?
You know what? Right now, thanks to the Governor and the rising Canadian dollar, things are pretty slow. But I did Scooby-Doo 2 last summer. You know, which was fairly sweet, even though you never actually see my face. Thank you. I get to be somebody else when the mask comes off. Oh, it was me, baby. I'm just so good that I look just like... I won't say it if you haven't seen it. But yeah, it's fairly, you know, I mean, I've been sort of in and out. I actually missed out on having a supporting role in a pretty big feature film because I was at a convention in Columbus, Ohio earlier this year. Which kind of sucked to get a phone call there going, yeah, they loved you. The producers, the director's flying in. They want to meet with you on Sunday. And I'm like, it's Saturday and I'm in Columbus. Can I meet with him on Monday? Nope. So, you know, I mean, it comes and it goes, it ebbs and it flows. But, you know, I mean, I'm sort of a voice actor first. And if I can get the other stuff, then great. I like voice acting, man, because, you know, you don't have to bathe. You know, on-camera stuff, especially feature films, you sit around for 18 hours a day. You know, working for about 3 seconds out of the day. The rest of the time, you're sort of, you know, grazing at craft service and trying to stay awake. And then... You know, and you work for months or something, and it ends up being 3 seconds on film. Whereas I can go and do a full, you know, episode of cartoons and 22-minute episode in an hour and a half, or do 8 episodes of Dragon Ball Z, and you know, and it's just way more immediate. And sometimes we like to work naked, and that's just the way it is. If I put this Twinkie in the bell of this speaker and I yell really loud, do you suppose we can launch the Twinkie? The sound dude is just looking at me going, you do that to my speaker, I will hunt you down and kill your ass. You're in Texas, we all have guns. Double. If you think you're going to trick me into showing you my hat head, you can forget it. Thank you. All right. Let us recreate the moment in history. Deathside, my faithful friend and companion. Crushing. I don't even remember the sequence where it crabbed out, you know. That's the sad part. Everyone, what did it look like? I don't remember.
The Troll was ordered to shoot it with the civilians of the colony. It was
See, in my head in the studio, all I was remembering was the time that my wife ran over my motorcycle. By accident. She had just learned how to drive, and reverse and forward are confusing. Anyway, so yeah, it was that moment of hearing her freaking out outside, and I'm like, what? What is all this screaming? I come out, it's just like... See, all those years of studying classical theater really paid off. Thank you! Yes?
You were talking about how you trained to do Shakespeare, so I imagine it was really great getting to quote Hamlet and Dinobot in Beast Wars.
It was.
Oh, yeah! You do Dinobot's soliloquy from Code of Heroes.
You know what? I don't... Here's where, you know, clever Scott, right? Dinobot knew he was going to die like 5 episodes before he died. I'm like, okay, he's dead now. When does he come back? He doesn't, Scott, he's dead. Yeah, I know, but he's like cartoon dead, right? No, he's dead. Yeah, I mean, he comes... No, he doesn't come back. He's dead.
Mullen remembers the starting gun. To be or not to be? That is the question. The one that is nobler.
And I remember the real Hamlet part, so I'm like, third. And then the moment.
Then the rest is silence.
The very first con I ever went to, thanks for that. The very first con I ever went to was just after Code of the Hero had come out. And, you know, so of course I had no idea that people actually watched this stuff. And then there people were like in tears and like, oh my God, what's that? I was like, and they're going, please, and he said, you know what, as much as we love Dinobot, oh please, just don't let them cheapen his death by bringing him back like a cartoon. And I went, don't worry. They've assured me they won't. And then of course, hey, bring in the clones. Anyway. Wait a minute, that's that same double-tailed thing in the back. All right, it worked once, we'll try it again.
I got one question for you.
Doing it again with the best. Speak up.
I got one question for you.
Pardon me?
I got one question for you.
All right, hopefully I got one answer for you. 42.
I want to talk about something about the show, Gundam Wings.
Gundam Wing.
That was one of the 5 girls, right, that piloted the bitch. Straight to hell, the big kid opened up, Scott went, boom. Yes.
In that show, Gundam Wings, I'm a big fan of you and I'm a big fan of Lisa. The girl who played Rosita Beastcraft.
Yeah.
And was the guy who played you?
Mark Hildreth.
Mark Hildreth is one of the few guys, he's been doing this as long as I have. He was Kaz the Kid on The New Adventures of He-Man. When I started working with Mark, he was like this little 7-year-old kid. And then he went away for a little while. And then he comes back, he's like, hey, how you doing? I'm Mark Hildreth, man. I'm like, whoa, wow, what happened to you? Puberty. Which in some cases sucks for a young voice actor. Like we went through 3 Enzos in 3 years on reboot. We truly did, because it'd be like back for season 2, and you know, say, hey, I was like, bring in the next Enzo. Sorry, Jesse, man, you're the man, but now you're the man. There's a guy named Andrew Francis that works in town a lot, actually. Who was he? He was Delando on Escaflowne. I was in Escaflowne too. Nobody ever asked me about that. I was Jijuka. Anyway, Andrew Francis was this kid that I started working with, and then, you know, he sort of became this thing. He works on X-Men as well. Andrew I'm going to have to kill soon. Because not only is he, you know, gone from being a kid voice actor to being an adult voice actor, in one of the episodes of X-Men, he had to actually do an impression of Wolverine. What came out of his mouth frightened me. We're just doing another series now that we started working on called Dragon Booster. And they wanted this character that I went in an audition for. He's this big character. He's 17 years old, but he's huge. And he's supposed to have this incredible basso profundo voice. Really low, really gravelly. So I went in, thinking, okay, I got a pretty good shot at this, and I read for it. And I ended up getting another role on the show, and then so I go, well, who ended up getting the role of Fistus? And they're like, Andrew Francis. I'm going, so the kid is now 1.5 octaves below me. Damn. Yes.
What did they carve on his tombstone 80 years later?
I was a cucumber. I'm a cucumber. I'm a cucumber. I'm a cucumber. I'm a cucumber, but please don't put me in the dance break. Pickle jar. We discovered at that point that actually Piccolo cannot sing and he's completely tone deaf. Which is weird because I used to be a singer, but you know, they all have different lives of their own, these characters. Giant Scythe. 2.0.
Like, I know that when you did Gundam Wing, you didn't do everything together, you just went and did your lines. Did you ever, this is 2 questions, by the way, this is long. Did you ever meet all of the Gundam pilots, or just a few of them?
No, I know all of these guys, because, you know, we've been working together on various other projects for years. So I know Mark, I know Ted and I went to the same theater school years ago. Ted also worked on the New Adventures of He-Man. Was it Kirby? You know, I mean, I work with Kirby all the time on other stuff. He's Cyclops on X-Men, bunch of stuff. Who am I missing? Brad Swale. You know, Brad's Nightcrawler. Brad's one of my favorite voice actors in the world. Because he's super nice, he's like this humble dude, and I think he's so unbelievably tough. Plus he looks just like Nightcrawler. Except for the blue part. But he's got, you know, 3 toes and a tail and stuff, and it's freaky. So, I mean, I know, like, all the voice actors in Vancouver, you know, I used to joke, and we all live in a big house down by the river, and we always... But yeah, what you were leading up to is actually a very good question with regards to voice acting, is there are the 2 types. There is dubbing, which is most of the anime stuff where we're taking an existent product from another country and dubbing in the voices. In those cases, we sit by ourselves in this little hermetically sealed room, seeing little tiny bits and trying desperately to act with somebody else's lips. You get this paragraph, they're like, okay, I got this great read for this, it's gonna be perfect, it's gonna be really funny, okay, it's long, and it's okay, I got this, and then they go, beep, 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 and let's go, Soother! We're gonna need a rewrite. And then prelay, which is kind of the North American stuff, we go in and record the whole thing as a group, and then they animate to what we've done, which is generally more fun, because you get to like really throw stuff at each other. Occasionally they let you just go nutty, like on Reboot, if y'all watched Reboot, when... I'm such a suck now. I'm just like, no, if y'all happen to ever watch, I'm learning. But they would for Hack and Slash, they would have Gary and I record it once as per script. And then they would just open up both mics and say, you guys go nuts, and just do stuff. What? I don't want to be hooked. I'm being hooked.